Who would you be if you didn't have the fear that was holding you back? A mystic is someone who sees without eyes, hears without ears, knows without thoughts, and is living on both sides of the veil simultaneously. When you feel that pull in your heart, slow or fast, you must respect it. It didn't come from you. So I am taking a massive leap of faith. To me, it doesn't really get bigger than this.
The episode you're about to watch has been republished. My podcast channel reaches a lot more people now, and there's certain episodes that have slipped under the radar, and I wanted to bring them up for your attention because I truly feel they are worth listening to. So please be sure to let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. And of course, let's continue to connect. Let me know where you are in the world and where you're listening and tuning in from. I love reading it. It's amazing, isn't it, that we can do this? And the other thing I want to say as well is find out where we are if you want to put your spiritual boots on and come and join us at one of our 5-day retreats or one-day events around the world. Links are below as well if you want to find out more what we're up to. Much love from me. Enjoy. Michael, welcome back to the podcast. Great to see you, mate.
Great to see you too, Guy.
I was digging around just before we jumped on air as well, just to see what's Michael been up to recently, because I know we invited you back on the show to talk about being a modern mystic, which I'm fascinated with. But I jumped on your YouTube channel as well, mate, and you had something like 258,000 subscribers or something. I'm like, oh my God, what's that guy been doing over there? And you've become a dad, and I see I can appreciate the effort, the work, and the drive that you and the impact that you are doing over there in the US. And I'm curious to know, what is it that drives you, Michael? Because it's no mean feat what you're doing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of love and energy going into that.
What drives me? Oh, brilliant question, Guy. There seems to be something wired into my DNA, Guy. And it got flipped on with my first near-death experience. And then I had to find a way to get the ego in check because ego sneaks in the back door, which wants to help people. I mean, if we want to use PC terminology, free them from the matrix, wake people up to the fact that this is an Earth school. Chances are you are a bit of a sleepwalker in it. And let's wake you up to what you're capable of being. And that's my mission, but without it being I must do it. There's no more drive or strive or push or fight to do it. It's just hardwired in. Every opportunity I get, I'm going to see how I can help raise somebody up, how I can shift their vibration, how I can get them to what somebody like Paul Selig and his guides would call it, the upper room. And I guess that's my natural state at this point, is that I seek that, and that makes me happy.
Beautiful. Did you always have an inclination about the depth of where this work can go? Because, I'm a guy from Wales that had no idea. And it wasn't until I had a full, really awakening myself that I went, oh my God, I could see a much bigger picture view and realize how much we are part of something far greater than ourselves. But my ego kept me removed from what's ever present. And I'm curious to know, in your journey, Michael, was that the case for you, or did you grow up knowing that, or was it always a drive from a different direction? Because I know you're an athlete as well.
Yeah. There's so many. I mean, hindsight really is 2020, and so it's easy to go back and see my first mystical experiences, like at 5 years of age, when I slipped and fell and knocked a tooth out, while I had been thinking about consciousness and do we exist if, for instance, my family has just left to go to a party or something. Do they exist if I close my eyes? What is existence? Am I still here? What is real? So you can go back and you can look at these things. But or I can go to racing bicycles in Europe and having a American squad in Belgium, and looking at my team members who are all biking, and going, there's another part of this puzzle. I can't just be on the physical side of things. I have to balance both sides. So you can go back and look at that. But To this day, Guy, I don't know where we're capable of going. I think you and I have just scratched the surface.
Mm.
So right now we're over 2,000 shows in, and live events or weekly YouTube lives, probably 250, 300 shows. Got out a handful of books. I'm going to get a lot more out. And I can sense, not sense, I can hear, I can feel, I can know, and in my automatic writing, I can see before me that I'm being challenged to pivot at this time. And the pivoting is to do more of this, more conversations with Guy, for instance, and less interviews on my show, as I let the universe steer and pull me in another direction, as I call it, for my highest good and the highest good of all, or something even better. Here's the trick, Guy. I don't know where the hell I'm going.
Mm.
I mean, I know I'm going to be writing more. I know I'm going to be teaching more. I know that right now, 258,000 or so subscribers. I could get on the mic for a live event and get 40, 50, maybe if I push it, 100,000 people. That's pretty awesome. I have a feeling that's scratching the surface, but it's not going to come from chasing it. It's going to come from, well, we might get into daddyhood later on, I surrenderedness. An I surrender that says, I don't know how I got here. I don't know if you know how you got there, Guy. I don't know. I mean, I can look back, but I don't know how I got here. And I sure as sugar, I have no clue how I'm going to get to whatever's coming next. Now, we're talking about modern mystics a bit here today. I can go on to the other side of the veil and I can look down at my life and I can see where I'm going, big picture. No idea, small picture. In fact, what the angels and guides or whoever we want to call them says is the details are none of our business. The details are none of our business. You get wrapped up in the details. You get stuck in who and what you think you are. And who or what we think we are is a very limited belief. It is a very picayune picture of what we're capable of. And so I'm guessing along, I have all these amazing tools to speak with the other side, but I'm still guessing and going through this journey as much as anybody else. A door opens, I step through if it feels right. A door closes, I step back and I don't try to force my way through,
Mm.
particularly if it doesn't feel good. And I allow those pulls on my heart to drive me forward. Now, one last note. I know I've been going for a minute, but you said, did you ever realize when I first did automatic writing in a program on uh, like a multi-day teaching I took, I was the student on learning how to speak with the Akashic Masters, librarians of the universe. And I did an automatic writing process, and then you had to read it back to the class. And it said that I would be a teacher or a leader. I would be speaking before thousands and thousands of people from up on a mountaintop, up on high. And I had to read that before everybody. And I thought, oh my God, this is my ego. This is trying to make me look special. This is trying to, and one of my wounds that I may have carried from generations or past lives is shame and embarrassment. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? How could I have, tried to grandstand in front of people in this class? And I put that aside and wouldn't touch anything like automatic writing for about another year and a half. And then I tried again. You're going to be a teacher, a leader, speak before thousands and thousands from a mountaintop on a high. And I got pissed off and I didn't do it again. Then I had a past life regression and I got the same thing. And then I said, okay, maybe there's something here. Well, I'm not on a mountaintop up on high right now. Actually, I am on a mesa at a couple thousand feet high, but not on a mountaintop. But a few years back, I was just outside Aspen, Colorado, and I had just been invited to Nobel Peace Prize Summit, and I had gone down there and I was teaching, and I was living up on the side of a mountain, thousands of feet above the town below me, speaking before thousands and thousands of people from on a mountaintop up on high.
Wow. And did you know in that moment that was the vision, or were you all of a sudden on the mountaintop thinking, "Oh my God, this was my automatic writing," or did you know it was coming?
No, I thought it was bullshit. I didn't think it was real. I thought I had made this stuff up. Now, as I got into automatic writing, it became clearer and clearer. So, but this was real early on. I had no idea. Um, once I got to Colorado and probably Jessica, it's my wife, is like, do you realize? I'm like, oh yeah. But now when we got to Colorado, it was really cool because we had this home that we had envisioned. We had trails at our backyard that we had envisioned, all of these amazing things that we had envisioned. But universe is universe. This is the Earth's school, as far as I'm concerned. It is a teaching environment. What does that mean? We're in our dream home in Colorado. How does it get any better than this? Ah, can I swear on air?
Absolutely.
Oh shit, there's a fire coming for our front door. And we had a fire come to 1 mile from the house,
Wow.
and then a second fire come 4 miles from the house, and we had to leave. So you get a lot of what you both envision, what comes to you, what you see, what you feel, and what you hope for, but there's something greater in the works. And so when you get that snapshot of, wow, I can't believe this is what I've got right now, hold on. Because that ain't the whole story. That's just a snapshot.
Yeah. And it's forever evolving and changing for our growth, isn't it? I'm
Yes.
curious as well, Michael, because one of the conversations that come up a lot is surrender on the podcast. And even with myself and my business partner, we're seeing how many, not many men are coming to our workshops initially. They're normally dragged along by their wives, right?
So
And
true.
and it's like, wow. But I guess I'm leaning into the fact that you being a dad, and I know men will be listening
Yeah.
to this show today, and myself being a dad of now a 2-year-old and you 9 weeks. Congratulations. It's just absolutely beautiful. Surrendering can take a lot of courage, especially to let go, especially when we have responsibilities outside of ourselves. And do you feel the fear still? How do you work and navigate the responsibilities and the pressures of daily life to a degree, but to then be able to continue to lean into this work at the same time?
A brilliant question, Guy. A brilliant question, because we are wired. The masculine is the, and I'm not trying to go stereotype, but there's a masculine and a feminine, a divine masculine and feminine inside of all of us. The masculine side is the provider side of things, at least in humanity. And so every decision that you make, every decision that I make has that instinctual, I must provide for my family. I do not want to put them at risk. I'll put that in quotes, at risk side of things. That's real. That's legit. Um, and the masculine side is also the doer. We're not the beers. We are the, I must go do, I must go hunt or go plant or go something. There's something that has to be done and I must go do it now. That tends to be our rule. This summer is a perfect example. So I'm just going to share from the heart, Guy.
Perfect.
I mean, there's nothing better than that, right? We're winding down our interviews. We'll do a few select interviews coming up, but after August 30th, I will keep the door pried open, but I'm almost completely shutting the door. Why? I have at least 4 books and some other stuff queued up inside of me to come out. I have programs that I want to create, classes that I want to teach, all this amazing stuff. And I'm doing my show, which has provided for us, taken care of us, nurtured us, supported us, put food on the table for us, but is limiting me, in quotes, from doing those other things. It is scary as snot to say, I'm going to close the door that has been a 7-year build, thousands of shows. It's a sweet spot, truly, for me. I can tell it's a sweet spot for you as well, because I'm being called for something else and with a baby on board. And so I go slowly. It's the best I can do. Is I'm in automatic writing each and every day. I teach our School of Mystics. I'm teaching people how to do this. And the angels and guides are giant cheeseburgers in the sky. I don't care what you call source or universe. Is banging on the door going, it's time to stop. You need to pivot. And I'm going, let me go at my own pace. I'm trying to negotiate with the universe. Let me breathe into this. And they're like, you realize we're just going to make it a little harder and a little harder until you finally do it. I'm like, yes, but I need to go slowly. So I am taking a massive leap of faith. To me, it doesn't really get bigger than this
Mhm.
because I have to. And here's the proof is I have amazing guests on the show. Amazing. And it hurts to do the interviews now. It should not. I hope you never reach this point. But if you do, it's for a pivot because you have amazing guests on as well. It feels out of alignment. You must. As what is a mystic? A mystic is someone who sees without eyes, hears without ears, knows without thoughts, and is living on both sides of the veil simultaneously. When you feel that pull in your heart, slow or fast, you must respect it. It didn't come from you. A mystic is an empath, someone who is jacked in to the field of emotions, of energy, of everythingness. And I cannot feel it any stronger. Now, the English is to me, and I don't know many other languages well. I've studied a bunch, but not that deep. But English, and maybe it's all human language. English is a far inferior language for describing emotions. It just doesn't do it justice. They're not nuanced. You got anger, you got sadness, you got frustration, but there's no nuance in there. So the pain is pain. It's very uncomfortable, but it is a steering or a guidance or a golden thread pulling me another direction that's saying, come on this way. Come. We've got something else for you. But it's an energy like being plugged into the wall, going in French kissing an electrical socket. It doesn't necessarily feel good, but it's steering, telling you to get away from the socket. And that's what I'm experiencing right now.
Mm.
So it is, in a sense, incredibly brave, but it also would be incredibly difficult not to as you start to go down the rabbit hole and respect the pulls on your heart.
Yeah. Beautiful share. Thank you, Michael. And one thing I've learned through my experiences is that it's our actions that define us, and I think it's the greatest way to show others another way that
Yeah.
is possible through this work. I mean, what you just shared with me, um, I I can so relate. Like I because I had a very successful natural protein supplement company here in Australia. There he is.
And we'll see if he calms down. We'll keep him out. If he goes too long, feel free to say, Michael, let's get him to bed here.
Yeah,
He's sensitive to our energy, so I'm not sure if the baby is crying or if he's just feeling our energy because you were
that
sharing your story and he just let one go.
that's a, that's beautiful.
Here, I'll mute for the moment.
Okay, he's good. Okay, beautiful. But the reason why I share that is because it defined me. Like for 8 9 years, when that grew to its dizzying heights here in Australia, it was my identity. But there was that for 3 or 4 years, as it was growing and growing, I wasn't in it anymore, and that pull to come into the direction I am now is just getting stronger and stronger, and the messages were getting stronger and stronger, and and there was that point where I had to make the decision to go, I have to do this. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know which way, but if I don't do this, and my wife, Linda, bless her, she was behind me 1,000% as well. It's like, let's go in this direction. I just got to trust this. And as I step into that, terrified and excited, and feeling that fire from within that drives you, it's what defines you in life. And I think these initiations and these moments, then other people responded to that in such a way I had no idea, mate. You know what I mean? And from my actions, not from what I was saying. So I can relate, and I'm just so excited for you and your future and where you're going to go, because it's just going to continue to unfold in incredible ways.
Thank you. And bear with me one second. I'm going to have Rue take a nap. Do you want me to bring him on air for when he's got to cross in front of the camera? Do you want to say hi to him for one brief second?
Say, bring him on. So we know our guest.
All right, hold on one second here. Yes, hold on. Rue, we're going to have you take a nap. Rue, take a nap. You want to say hi to Guy? You? Hold on. I got to be able to hear him too. 1 second there. Oh, you're energized. You're really energized. I know.
I see him with you on social media, and I'm so happy he's made the podcast tonight, Michael.
And an unexpected guest. How's that?
Oh, fantastic.
So, all right, Rue, are you okay? Do you have any questions for him before I have him take a nap, Guy?
No, I just think he feels like the guardsman of the house. You know, he's he's the protector.
It's exactly it. So he's on heightened alert right now, listening for our little girl. He thinks it's his. I can't tell him otherwise. All right, hold on one sec here. Rue, hang in there. I know. Hold on. Nap time. I know.
Oh, that's fantastic. If you're listening to this on audio right now, because obviously this wouldn't be cut out, I'm keeping it in while Michael takes the rooster back. It's worth jumping on YouTube. Come and visit him. Amazing. There we go.
All right. Okay, I want to go back to what you were saying. You first. You first.
No, please go.
I want to go back to what you were saying before, because to me it is a leap of faith, and I might have to get up one more time and close the door. He has his own room, but there was a kitty in it, and if I close the door, you've got to juggle the whole circus. If I close the door, the kitty is going to cry to come out, so there's just no getting around all of this. My guess, though, is leaving behind that business, doors through themselves open that wouldn't have you had tried and used all of your power to hold on. And that's what we don't understand, is the pull doesn't come from us. If you're being called to leave something successful, you're not insane. You are heeding a higher calling. And the higher calling will always pay off. Now, you don't have to go, wake up one morning and sell everything and go do what you do. I did do something like that once for a big bike ride across the country. I was training for national championships. I had been top 10 in multiple events the year before. And I had in a dream, you're supposed to sell all your racing gear and ride across the country for students with learning disabilities and attention deficit disorder. And I listened to the dream. God, you don't have to do that. It did work out. But these pulls on our heart don't come from us, which means we will be taken care of. And so you did it. You leapt off that cliff. Would you go back and do it any other way?
No, not at all. It's. I mean, I've never been one to dwell on the past too much, anyway. But when I think of the learnings, the lessons, the teachings, the synchronicities, the guidances, and almost as well the practice what I preach kind of methodology is it's not like it really made me look at all corners and aspects of myself to grow.
Yeah.
And to move forward with that and surrender, because there's been defining moments in my life where I've truly had to surrender. And
this is the key thing. We think that life is about getting X amount of dollars, Y amount of property, Z amount of subscribers. It ain't about any of that. It is about being fully present in the experience, being fully present in the life that you're living, of this sounds kind of a teenage guy way, and I don't mean it that way, of living no regrets, meaning you are, in a sense, measured by your decisions. Step forward into yourself. Step forward. There's no right, there's no wrong, but when you feel the pull on your heart, be brave and go for it, because there are learnings, there are gifts that are going to be unwrapped because of it. And the experiences are so much richer by going for it rather than holding on to the old. Holding on to the old is hard and it hurts because there's a
Mm,
new energy waiting for you. And you came here to learn and grow. You didn't came here to collect or hold on to anything.
exactly. Exactly. You've mentioned multiple times, and this is something I often talk about, but I'd love to hear your perspective
Mhm.
about the pull of the heart and
Yes.
coming into that heart side energy. And I know we touched on being a dad and male masculinity as well through the conversation. But a common occurrence that we hear is, I can't feel my heart. I can't feel any of this. How do I pull forward if I'm just my mind just doesn't turn off? And where do you start with yourself and also then with your teachings as well? Because I know you have a a school and online classes and things like that. So I'm just curious to hear your perspective.
When I first, I'm going to say gave birth, I did no giving birth. I was with one hell of a hero when she gave birth. Um, I was numb to the experience. I was in a state of joy. Oh my God, the greatest thing in the world. But I also was numb to the experience because I was so overtired and overwhelmed and temporarily, in a sense, disconnected. I had to go back to basics. I had to start getting back into my practice. I had to start for myself. It's writing to my angels, writing to my guides, breathing, finding a space, allowing myself to have conversations with myself and to be honest with myself. When our baby was born, we had lost one of the twins months earlier. When our baby was born, she had to have heart surgery. I think it was 4.5 days in.
Oh.
Talk about being freaking scared. So your baby's born and she's hooked up to 14 or 15 different wires and tubes and everything. And she's on all this emergency equipment. And she's surrounded by nurses and doctors, and there's alarms and bells and whistles going off because this is a cardiac intensive care unit. Um, if you're not scared out of your mind, you're probably not present. and and you have to detach from whatever happens. Not have to. There's no have tos in life. It's maybe a good idea to be able to surrender to anything, which is craziness, guy, to say, I believe I have a daughter. I hope I have a daughter. Right now, I have a daughter. We'll see what the universe does. It's none of my business. God, I want it to be my business, but it's still none of my business. And it tends to put a layer of you tend to put a protective layer in front of you, and then another protective layer, and another protective layer, until you have old school Matthew Broderick war games from the 1980s. You have this missile mountain with steel doors closing, and that's okay. Get through the experience and then do everything you can to soften, to open the heart, to open to the experience, whether that's the work inside of yourself or outside of yourself, or starting with gratitude or starting with love, or literally massaging your heart and saying it's okay, because the wounded and child inside of each one of us is just right now the song it's doing from the 70s is freak out. So it's okay. It's okay. And as you begin leaning in more and more, as you become brave and courageous to um, feel and sense and listen more and more, the heart naturally starts to open up. The heart's natural state is completely and totally open. We are one. That's not just a fortune cookie statement. However, we're piled on by well-meaning and not so well-meaning individuals, teachers, guides, culture, movies, you name it. We are told to protect ourselves, to wall ourselves off, to be careful. I grew up in a beautiful Jewish household where it was considered against the whole religion and the culture to say something positive was going to happen. you take that back. You're going to jinx yourself, so to speak. If you say, well, I know I'm going to get into this school, don't do it. Protect yourself. Don't allow yourself to put yourself out there because something bad is going to come. And so we're taught and trained and ingrained, both on an individual and as a collective. Understand, Guy Lawrence that I'm speaking to right now, he's not Guy. I've got the spirit of Guy Lawrence. I've got everything that Guy Lawrence has been indoctrinated into. And I've got then everything that Guy Lawrence has been through in past lives indoctrinated into Guy, and everything that has been indoctrinated into Guy's parents on both sides, going back to infinitum. That is all put on you, which says when shit goes down, lockdown. Or run and run like hell. And so it is a very brave thing to go against all of this wiring. This is truly getting outside of the matrix. It's being able to, like Keanu Reeves, jump from one building to the next and see, can I make it? It is a huge leap of faith to be able to open our heart and feel our emotions again.
Yeah. Well said. Amazing. I want to lean into then being a mystic, because I know you teach the School of Modern Mystics. And how would you define a mystic? I'll start there.
Yeah, that's the simplest way to me is see without eyes, hear without ears, know without thought, living fully, completely grounded on both sides of the veil, which means as a mystic, I'm here with Guy Lawrence, a fellow mystic. I am also stepping outside of myself and able to see a big picture of what's going on, feeling what's going on, plugged into Guy's heart and hearing from Guy what's going on at a higher level as well. It's the most basics. You're no longer living, um, you know the desk is real, and you also know it isn't.
Hmm.
And so you don't play the game stuck in a world where the desk is all there is.
Where do people then come to see you? Where are they at on their journey? Because honestly, a lot of the things that we've shared and the things that you've just said as well, can be, a lot of people could shut down to that and just say, that's just not, that's ridiculous. That, and then you've got people that are curious and open, but skeptical. And then you've got people that live by it. There's this broad spectrum.
You can't. First off, I want to say what I'm going to say next without judgment or levels or anything, because there is no such thing. We're just all love, all of us, just pure love. Walking, talking, bumbling, fumbling examples of love. With that said, you can't make anybody jump ahead on their path when they're not ready. Period. You can't coerce them. You can't convince them. You can't anything. When someone is ready, the teacher appears. Again, more fortune cookie goodness. With that said, a mystic or a mystic in training, which is really what I teach, is an empath, somebody who's energetically very sensitive, who says this energy must be here for a reason, or my sensitivity, or people told me I was too sensitive. This too sensitivity must be here for a reason. I want to dive in and learn what it means. I keep getting these synchronicities. I keep bumping into people that it shouldn't be happening, or having these coincidences. They're seeing these signs, or feeling these things, or hearing these things. I don't know what they're all about. But I want to go down that rabbit hole and understand what's there. Those are the people who come to you. Those are the people who come to me and come to our School of Mystics. If they're not at that point, I love them. And maybe they'll be there, and maybe they won't, but I still love them. But I mean, you can, if we were to be real heady about it, we can get a 3S's journal, sign, symbol, synchronicities journal. And each day through the day, if you get any signs, if you get any symbols, if you get any synchronicities, if things keep happening, if weird things keep happening, if experiences that are just pure magic, how the heck? I never put money in a raffle or anything in my life, and all of a sudden I just put $10 down and just won blah, blah, blah. If any of this stuff happens, you write it down, and what happens is, it happens to every one of us every single day. We're always looking up at 444, at 111, or at just the right moment, did just the right thing, or picked up just the right call, or knew who was calling before the phone even rang. It happens to all of us. If we actually put it down on paper, the egoic mind, which is the only reason that we don't play the life of a great mystic, the only reason is because the egoic mind goes, I'm scared, I'm going to hide under the table right now. Whatever there is, that's all there is. And I don't, poo poo. I don't want to know or hear about anything else. And you can't really rationalize the ego. However, if you pull out what we call in the States for jury trials, a preponderance of the evidence, and it's one piece after the next piece, you might get the ego to go, okay, I give, whatever. And to realize there's more to life than meets the eye. There's more to life than life.
Yeah. What about there's a fine line between chasing the mysticism. I've been guilty of this in my past, right? And it's just something I felt I needed to ask you. Somebody needs to hear it listening anyway. That we can almost throw ourselves into the mysticism, the signs, but we use it as a bypass to actually avoid the very challenges that we need to be dealing with to learn and grow from, to evolve ourselves from a soul level.
Yeah. So you have a baby girl, well, 2 years old now. We have a baby girl. We're told our girl is special. You've probably been told your girl is special. Yesterday, Jessica and I were talking about it. We're like, we're told our girl is special. What do we do? And she said the most profound words anyone's ever heard, another fortune cookie. Chop wood, carry water. You gotta take care of the basics, man. So many people do the spiritual bypass where they're, I'm living in the clouds. I don't have to take care of anything. No, man. This is a physical world that you have chosen to embody in for a reason. Rock this world. It is a spiritual practice. The spiritual practice is not trying to escape this world. It's not trying to just ascend from this world. In fact, my belief is that a truly ascendant master, whatever that is, wants to come to this world and help us all. Is not saying, I got this figured out, I'm out of here, see ya. That's not what it's about. So it's about, and so it's not about the chase. Don't chase spirituality. Don't chase and I'm not a guru, but don't chase a guru. Don't chase an anything. But say, hey, there may be something more here. I'd like to learn about that to enrich in my experience, to make things more fuller or more. I came here to learn. And if I step outside of everything that I've been told by everybody else and learn how to get a higher perspective, maybe I'll learn even more. How cool would that be? But don't push. My recommendation, don't push, don't drive, don't strive, don't force anything. Because that is ego taking the back door. And that is, well, it's a learning. I promise there'll be a learning. But it might be the learning that I've gotten several times over. Maybe you have too, Guy. We call it in the States, it's a good piece of wood called a 2x4. And it's a learning with a giant piece of wood smacking us. Till we go back to this theme today, a full circle of surrender.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Where do you then get people to start? Like, is there one lesson or tip you could share with people today? Just say, try this for a week, or do something, or how do you get that momentum going for people within your school?
There are so many beautiful tools, and you can get overwhelmed with tools. So if I was to take somebody who is considering the school, I have this stone on me. We've moved twice in the last week and a half. It's a whole journey. We moved into one home, and it turns out the water was bad there. By bad, you couldn't drink it, you couldn't bathe in it, It was bad.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful home, but contaminated water system. Then we moved here. So I haven't found what is usually my grounding stone. So I have this stone. It's merlinite, which I don't know much about it, but it seems very cool and it feels cool. What I do with this stone in my hand as we're doing this interview is I go, I send love. I send love. I send love. So every question that you're asking me, I'm sending you love. I'm sending everyone. I'm sending you love. I'm sending everyone love. It's actually quite sophisticated and profound. But if you could take a week just trying to send people love, send people warm feelings, send people anything that recognizes the divinity in them, that they are struggling on this path. Somebody gives you a monodigital response on the road. Can you send them love? There's a cashier who's struggling, or somebody who cuts in front of you in line and they're really upset. Can you send them love? What can I do this week to step outside of my own personal experiences? My baby just cried. I know it just means she needs food and she's being well fed, but I'm going to send her love. The more that we can step out of our own experience and step into others by sharing love, which is the fuel that is everything, that is the thread that is everything, that binds us to everything, that is the cosmos. It's all love. But the more that we can just tap into it, forget about the cosmos for a minute and just step outside of ourselves, even just a little bit. Watch how you feel on any level in just a week's time. I think that would be a perfect place to start. And let's be honest, if you just did that one practice for the rest of your lives and did nothing else as far as a spiritual practice, you're good. you're gonna
Mm.
be you're gonna be vibrating at this level here, and everybody's gonna be like, I want some of that, because you're just exuding love.
What do you think? Look, I love it. I love it. It reminds me of, I remember asking Paul Check on the podcast a while back, and he said one of the greatest gifts you could do for anyone is just ask yourself, what would love do in any
Amen.
given moment? You know, when faced with a challenge, and that's sat with me ever since. And what because what you just said could be extremely challenging, you know, especially if you're used to being reactive
Mhm.
or judgmental and imposing your belief systems upon somebody else through your perception. By doing that, what would happen to oneself
If you did which?
by just sending love, sending love, sending love? What would be the end result?
Empathy through the roof, compassion through the roof, heart softening, melting, open up, being able to feel other people, not as in I'm feeling them too much, but being able to understand them through the roof, being able to hear almost their thoughts and go, wow, I never put myself in somebody's shoes like that. That completely changes. But also, what happens is, and I'm not so much a law of attraction kind of guy anymore, because that's all about me, me, me. I'm much more about the we. What can I do to raise consciousness for all of us? Although it's great, I got to admit, I got a shiny yellow Tesla with gold wheels outside. So I don't want to say you can't attract anything. Far from it. It's cool, but you become an attractor magnet, because you're radiating at a higher level. You'll see things differently. You'll feel things differently. Different experiences open up to you. Different people start to show up in your life, and you have different, for lack of another term, more positive outcomes. Now, I want to dive back into what you said. You said it's very hard for people. There are two, so we can look at this as stepping stones. Maybe sending love to another is too difficult right now, and you can simply maybe we get to start with sending love to yourself. And maybe if you can't send love to yourself, forgive yourself. I don't deserve love because I'm a blankety, blankety, blankety. And between you and me, Guy, I grew up with that inside of me. I was taught you're a blankety, 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 and I took ownership of that. That's the technical term. Forgive yourself. And if you can't go to forgiveness, then let's go to the most basic of basics: gratitude. Ah, not grateful for anything. Well, you happy I'm still alive? I don't even know about that. Well, you happy that you just got to use the bathroom? Well, yeah, this is killing me. All right, there. Let's just start there. Start with wherever you're at, but let's start to become more conscious
Mhm.
of what we ingest as emotions and we emit as emotions, what we take in and what we put out. That's a mystic. And that level, we all are mystics, but we're mystics in latency. We don't understand the skills that we have. And so if we start ingesting a more positive fuel and then start emitting a more positive light, everything changes.
Yeah, I love it, mate. I got a couple of questions as we wrap it up, but one is listening to you speak. What I love about you, Michael, you're authentically you. You know, you're just you, right? And you show great strength in the way you live your life, the way you moving forward, like you were even talking about earlier. But then you're really so you not only show great strength, but you're very heart centered. You're open, and it's like you own all the aspects of yourself, and with that ownership, you're moving forward in life and continue to explore, grow, and expand. And it's so evident, which is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
With that, there's a huge we've mentioned empathy many
Mhm.
times today, and there's a larger empathetic side to you. And this is a question that I get a lot, so I want to hear your perspective. How do you maintain your boundaries? Because one thing empaths do really well is if somebody's drowning and they're on the shore, instead of putting their hand out to say, come over, they jump in with them and drown with them.
Yeah. It's a practice. So I teach a prayer in every workshop I do. I call it G Spy. And it's a practice of putting yourself in a bubble and in a sense, Guy, on a sense, we don't need a bubble, but as particularly as empaths, until we figure out how to work with our energy, we get hoovered, man. We get the vacuum put to us big time. And we're like, take it all. That's not what I'm talking about from sending love. Giving away your power is not sending love. Giving away everything you have is not sending love. Letting people drive all over you, or to use a good, I think it was an 80s song, 90s song, the Macarena, letting them dance the Macarena on you, that's not being a hero and courageous. So what we do is the prayer G Spy that I teach is I use the word God, but God can mean spirit or angels, whatever you want. It's not a bearded white guy in the sky. Thank you, God, for guiding me with your love and light. Thank you, God, for surrounding me. So G, guiding. S, surrounding me with your love and light. Thank you, God, for protecting me. P, protecting me with your love and light. Thank you, God, for imbuing. I, imbuing me with your love and light. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And imagine that you're surrounding yourself in this bubble of love and light and protecting yourself. That's one piece. The next piece, I guess you could put it as simply as learning how to say no. The
Mm.
empath, that's not in the vocabulary, it's not in the dictionary. In fact, if somebody who is a true empath says no, they're going to feel guilty and completely torn apart. So, what we get to do is look at that wound that says, if I say no to somebody, I am going to be torn apart, and lean into that. What we're taught to do, at least in Western society, run or fight, certainly. I guess it's fight, flight, or freeze. When a heavy emotion comes up, we either fight it and we get angry with it, we freeze, or we run from it. What we don't do is put the emotion in front of us like the stone and go, wow, it feels like it might be crossing my boundaries to help Guy out here. But why would I feel so terrible? Why do I feel the need to do this? And look at it from every angle and really lean into it. You're leaning into the depths of your soul. In each challenge circumstance, in each boundary violation is an opportunity for nirvana, meaning an opportunity to learn about yourself. Don't give the gift away. Don't give the opportunity away. You went too far. Perfect. First off, it's not the other person's fault. It is ourselves who aren't aware that we have needs. You got to take care of yourself. You got to have boundaries. As I learned from a girlfriend a couple decades ago, if somebody's rolled their car in the middle of the road, don't jump out of the car to help them until you've pulled your car over safely first. But then go back later and examine it. What happened? Where's the pull? Where did it come from? What can I learn? This is being a mystic. This is stepping outside of yourself. And then the next time it happens, you'll slow the car down a little bit first, and the next time a little bit more, and the next time you'll look for a safe spot. And gradually over time, you will learn about your boundaries and how to protect them. You will still on occasion overstep your boundaries. Use that as an opportunity to love yourself up, because you can refill yourself really simple if you're forgiving to yourself, if you're kind to yourself, if you don't pick on yourself, and if you simply love yourself up for what happened. You did the best you could exactly where you're at.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Last question, Michael.
Yeah.
There's so many more questions I want to ask, but I'm aware of our time and I want to honor it. So I'm just going to dive in. With everything we've covered today, what would you love our listeners to ponder on?
Who would you be if you didn't have the fear that was holding you back? That's it. That's where I'm at. It's not even teach what you know. It's share the journey. We're all going to learn from the journey.
Share the journey. Hey, yeah, 100%. You just placed me in a spot where my old mentor said to me, he's like, when I was going through that transition, because I had mentors and people around me to ensure that I'm leaning into the practices, and he said, Guy, look at the amount of information out there, look at the amount of scientists and doctors, and we're overwhelmed with all this information. What we need is somebody to live from their actions and share the journey. That's what he said, mate.
Yeah.
And I was like, amen to that. I can do that.
And the cool thing is we have olfactory senses that can sniff it out when somebody is authentic. And we want to follow them with everything we've got versus taking the clothespin to others that aren't. And it's no judgment, but we want to hear authenticity today. We need it. Need it.
More than ever. More than ever. More than ever. Where can people go if they want to work with you, Michael, learn more? I have your automatic writing book. It sits on my shelf. I've been doing the exercises over time since our last interview. It's an incredible tool for people. I can't recommend it enough. I know you do the School of Mystics as well, I believe. I don't know if that runs annually or seasonally.
Automatic writing, you can get a video-based program with live classes with me every month. In fact, I don't know when this airs, but I've got another live class coming up this Thursday on automatic writing to get you in quickly. And Inspire Nation University, I think you have to school a little bit. You'll find our School of Mystics. It's extremely cost effective. We meet 4 Wednesdays a month. And it is an opportunity to join like-minded individuals. There is a teaching, there's a meditation, there are clearings, there's a live Q&A. It's you get access to our every past class we've ever offered. It's really special, but it is an opportunity to learn and grow together as a group. You don't have to be on camera, and you can, watch the replay, of course. You don't have to be there, but we're all going through this journey. We're all tripping and falling and brushing ourselves off and, putting betadine or something on our wounds and stepping forward. But it is every Wednesday night, and it is It's both a pure joy and honor, but let's take it one step further. I do a lot of channeling. So even as we're speaking now, I record everything because I don't even know what's going to come out of me. And I don't say that in a bad way.
Mm.
I know where I'm resonating. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. For the School of Mystics, I channel before class. And like I just had the most brilliant teaching this past week. I'll put brilliant in quotes about opening your third eye. It didn't come from me, guy. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And it works. Like, that's really cool. So it's a journey we go on together through the School of Mystics. And I'm learning and along for the ride as well as everyone else.
Mm.
And so it's really, really special. And that's again inspirenationuniversity.com. And you'll scroll down, you'll find the School of Mystics. And where Guy and I are at, which is not easy. There is no easy road. There is no, well, and I'm not enlightened, but I'm enlightened tonight. No, 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 no. You're still on earth, man. You know, you'd step in front of a truck, it's going to hurt at least. But there's a different level of this existence that you can play at. And that's what I'm helping people to do. That's what your show, Guy, is helping people to do, is to help people to live at a higher level of awareness, at a higher frequency, to play the greater game that we all came here to play. And that's what I teach at the School of Mystics. And if you're grooving on that, I would love to have you there. But we all get to play in our own way, whatever that is for you. And I can only, not only, I send you love. I send love, I send love, I send love.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. For everyone listening, the links will be in the show notes below, whether you're watching it on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, etc., etc. So, Michael, just thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's wonderful to reconnect with you and your energy, and I'm so happy for you and the direction you're going and everything you're putting out to the world. So it's greatly appreciated and acknowledged, mate. So thank you.
Thank you, Guy. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? Lots of love.
Likewise, mate. Much love.